The Wii had lots of shovelware. That means lots of really good games ended up in the bargain bins and probably shouldn't have been there. So I took $60, went down to my local game store, and bought about 10 of them. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games. So today I show you 10 good, cheap games for the Nintendo Wii.
Second Opinion Games.
Marble Mania is a lot like Super Monkey Ball, only I don't have to wrestle around with the camera nearly as much. You play as a simple marble on a board. You just have to move your environment around to make it to the goal. Couldn't get any easier, except there is a couple of items that you have to pick up along the way. If you don't pick them up, you have to start all over again, and you're always racing against the clock. You know, to beat your own time, not because you have to get there by a certain time or you suddenly explode or something. Now, there is other marbles that you can unlock as you play through the game, but the controls feel completely great. Every time I died, it was my own fault, and it's just like Super Monkey Ball, only not as cute. But maybe you want your balls to bounce just a little bit more. Well, then I recommend NBA Jam. Forget about those basketball simulators. This is over-the-top action. Boom shakalaka, in your face, over-the-top dunks. It has many of the people from the NBA that you know and love, and probably a few that you absolutely hate. There's probably going to be tons of cheat codes, including big head mode, or just dribble around the court and take a few easy layups. Now, when you begin to heat up, the ball's on fire, and so is the net most of the time. You can have super over-the-top moves, and the over-the-top announcer is what I love the most about this game. You can even shove people over, but say that's not violent enough for you. Well, maybe then you should turn to...
Here's Kobe, nothing but net. On the fadeaway for two. Oh, pretty shot as the ball swishes home. Just a monster crossover. And he jams that one in for an easy two.
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon is a very intense, action-filled game. It's more of a light gun, cover-based shooter than anything else. And while you're reloading, your friend can be covering your back. And while he's reloading, you could be running out in the open and getting shot. Throwing grenades is always preferable for large nests of people. Picking up a massive machine gun and mowing down everyone is really good. There's even some drone elements where you could just mow down everything in sight, including freaking tanks. This is an unbelievable action-filled game. But maybe it's just a little bit too grounded in reality. You want something a little bit more up in the air.
Surrounding the assault drone. Then we can use it to our advantage. Turn that drone around on the ultra-nationalist troops and we can win this fight. Now get rolling, we're running out of time.
Kill confirmed.
We have visual contact on more hostiles inbound. Looks like the enemy's making one last big push.
Heatseeker. If you ever want to pilot a jet, then this is not your game. This is full-blown arcade action at its finest. Firing rockets to take down MiGs, using your machine guns to mow down everything else, even going on bombing runs, blowing up ships and terrorists alike. Now the controls do get wonky at spots, and sometimes you just have to find your center, and that gets a little bit rough. But this game is super cheap. Also, the boost has you going so incredibly fast. I actually had to hold on to my seat because I thought I was going to fall off. But maybe this game is just not high up in the air for you. You want something a little bit more space-worthy.
Tracking enemy movement.
Locked. Missile kill.
Geometry Wars Galaxies. This is a twin-stick shooter that has a lot of geometry going on, where there's certainly some shapes. You also have a super bomb that you could use to clear the entire environment. However, you're going to want to use them sparingly to the point where you forget that they're even there half the time. There's going to be black holes opening up, sucking in all the different enemies, and including your own gunfire. So you have to watch out for that. Enemies will come at you really ridiculously fast as well. And this is a heart-racing good time. There's also plenty of different maps to play on and different power-ups that you could earn as you play through the game. But maybe this was way too advanced for you. You want something a little more historic. Barbie and the Three Musketeers. This is actually the hardest to find game on this entire list. Yeah, you could probably pick it up on eBay for less than $2. However, trying to find it in the wild is nearly impossible. And why would you want to try to find this? Because it's made by WayForward, a company that really knows how to make in excellent 2D platform games. And this one might be really easy, but there is some elements here with the different Musketeers. Different ones can do different things. Also, there's different crevices that you could send your cat down to unlock different doors. And this cat is strong too. It can break cinder blocks with its freaking claws. That means Barbie has one of the toughest pussies ever. And maybe you love cats so much that you just want more of them. Well then, how about checking out Batman, Brave and the Bold. This is the only Batman game where Batman gets turned into a freaking cat. And you know what? He's still really dangerous because he's Batman. Now you have to pick up coins scattered about the level to buy your power-ups because apparently you're not a rich billionaire, and you even rob the different criminals that you pummel into the ground and steal their coins as well. Now there is plenty of chatter between Batman and Robin, and it's hilarious to listen to. The voice acting is done quite well. This game is still made by WayForward, so you know it's a quality 2D action adventure. And you know what? This is probably my favorite Batman game of all times. And it makes me feel like I'm watching Saturday morning cartoons. So when this episode's over, I'm probably going to want to watch more cartoons. Well then maybe...
Cat spends most of its time sleeping on couches, playing with yarn, and coughing up fur balls. They also enjoy having their tummies rubbed.
I don't see what's so scientific about that.
Wacky Races may be the game for you. Now, I thought I was buying a kart racing game, but I had no idea. It plays more like a Saturday morning cartoon. This dick dastardly tries to set up different traps along the race car track, which triggers mini games. If you fail the mini game, then you end up in last place, which really isn't that far behind. And if you win, then you end up in first place, which also isn't that far in the front. Now, at the end of every single race, it basically comes down to who could waggle the Wiimote the fastest. So really, everything in between doesn't mean anything. However, the cartoon cutscenes in between each levels and the different mini games are where the game really shines. It's actually pretty good, but maybe you want to play a real kart racer. Well then, you would turn to...
Power her way to the lead. Ooh, I hope there's some insurance on that ride. Yikes, I bet that's smart. Right now, it's anyone's guess who will win this race. Penelope Pitstop is charming the competition with her beauty power, but...
DreamWorks Super Start Karts. This is a Mario Kart clone down to the last detail. Matter of fact, it feels more like an expansion pack than anything else because the controls are all the same. I like to play as this ass because, you know, he's actually pretty well balanced. Power sliding around corners feels kind of good, maybe not as good as Mario Kart, but it gets the job done. The power-ups are all there, and you just race around the track and try and get first place. You could race 50cc up to 150cc, depending on how good you are at the game. However, the computer's always going to rubber band back to you. But you know what? Maybe you want your fighting a little bit more hand to hand, and you're tired of all these Mortal Kombat games. So how about one that's about Immortal Kombat?
Whoa! Yeah! Whoa!
Tournament of Legends is a bunch of gods fighting each other. It's made by Sega, so you know it's at least somewhat quality. And you can play with the GameCube controller as long as it's one of those ones that plugs into the back of the Wiimote. And that's how I prefer playing the game. The controls are all pretty much spot on. There's tons of different moves that you can do, and even environmental hazards like giant crabs coming out of nowhere and trying to stab you to death. The rounds are pretty cool too. There's lots of different minigame movements that you can do with the controller to earn back some energy and to say quick one-liners. It's really cool and really cheap. But you know what? That was 10 games already, and I just have one more I want to talk about because I had enough money extra for another one, and it's often forgotten about. The Incredible Hulk. This is the forgotten about one. You know, the one with Ed Norton before he got recast by someone who isn't Ed Norton, who I really prefer. Now, this is a Hulk-busting game, and he actually feels more like Spider-Man than anything else. He can climb to the top of skyscrapers with ease and smash everything. It's actually a really cool game. So did I spend my $60? Well, I got all of these games, and they're all really fun. So if you see them in the wild for the dirt cheap price like I paid, well then I recommend picking them up. But that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.
Move, people!
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it, and the Wii was full of forgotten about games. Matter of fact, I already did plenty of Hidden Gems videos that I want you to go back and look through. And as far as Hidden Gems in general, well, Pandora's Tower is one of my favorite games of all time. It came out really late in the Wii's life cycle, so not many people played it. I could even force this vegetarian girl to eat my bloody beast meat, which I do quite often. So if I inspired you to play a little bit more Wii, let me know. And let me know what Wii games you think I should play in the future. So until later, I will see you again, guys.